Well, welcome back to Qualified Dropouts, everyone. We are here with some amazing people. Oh my gosh, Audrey.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. Dude, it's been a while. Yeah. Mason has been on the channel before, but we wanted to get his girlfriend on, Audrey.
Yeah, first time here. Thanks for having us, guys.
Dude, y'all have, first off, I just want to say, y'all have a great home.
Oh, we love it.
Thank you.
We love it. Yeah.
We do love our home.
I came into the place and I just felt at peace. Like, this place
I love
is
that.
No, exactly. I'm like, dude, this is like chill.
You know what's-
this is
and then
perfect.
we're going back to our apartment and be like, Asher, we need to up our game, bro.
You know what's
Yeah.
so funny is I walked in and I'm like really anal about when people come over because I'm a girl. So like I light candles and everything has to be perfect. And I walked in, I'm like, it smells like pork. I walk upstairs, I'm like, there's blankets that are on the floor. Like, why did we not pick it up? So I appreciate that. I'm glad it felt homey. Maybe that helped to make it feel more homey and not like stiff.
A little messiness.
Honestly,
no,
a little bit
it
of-
is.
Our place is a mess.
Well, we did clean it today, but it's just our couch. We paid $100 for a couch, another couch, and 2 coffee tables.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
one-
that's
it's
a
one-
bargain, though.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
That's
one
a
of those
bargain.
it's like a
fraternity
true
couches.
$100 setup. Like, it's not nice.
It's one of those fraternity couches that you see on like the porches on
Yes,
college campuses.
yes.
It's those type of.
Was it Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, it
It
was.
was.
Funny
Oh.
They're like
story.
2 for 1. We're like, game
So,
over.
Our apartment was too small compared to our last place, where we had like an extra 2-seater couch, and we couldn't put it in the apartment because it was too small. So we put it on our balcony, and we get an email. They're like, well, you can only have porch furniture out there. You can't have a couch.
We're like,
Oh my
wait,
God.
this was porch furniture in college.
What happened? I had a treadmill out on my porch. And
Oh my.
literally, you were
Yes,
you were
you
there.
did.
I had to call him because there was a police that was standing there
Oh, that was
looking.
at our apartment in Telfair.
Yes, looking through the window, waiting for me to take it out
Wow.
because I got a call from the leasing center. You need to take that off your balcony. And then there was policemen staring, like looking through the window, waiting until I took it off. So I had to call him. I'm like, I can't do this on my own. But this guy is like literally stalking me through my window. This cop.
This police officer.
So don't put a treadmill on your window.
That's it. I'm actually kind
Around
of
to
your
self.
balcony.
Note to
It's-
self.
I don't think that looks bad, does it? At a treadmill?
think
I think it's a
guess
safety thing.
That's fair.
We
I
had
know,
a
build
couch-
your balconies a little better, I guess.
Yeah, we had a couch on our porch in college, dude. Homeless people would sleep there all the time.
Really?
We'd walk out
Oh.
7, 8 a.m. We were like, dude, get off of our porch.
Oh, like
Homeless
on your
people-
porch.
Yeah. Because in Knoxville,
I didn't know
dude,
that.
homelessness is like huge there.
Oh, yeah.
And we were right next down to like the downtown area, bunch of bridges. Come up there, sleep on a
it's
couch.
prime.
We're
prime
like,
location.
Knoxville,
Bro.
Tennessee. That's.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No
Yeah,
shit.
I'm
prime
from Flo-
location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're Tampa.
I am from Tampa.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
from
Vero Beach. I'm
Yeah.
like State Road 60.
right
in
across.
my hometown.
Yeah, I love Vero Beach area. Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida. Florida's a good old place.
Yeah. So nice.
It is.
Well, we got a lot to dive into. First off, I wanted to talk about you, Audrey. That's the first thing I want to talk
Okay,
about.
cool. I feel like a spotlight.
So from
Mason, so.
yeah, we
He's a
already
little
talked to
boring.
him, so we'll come back to him later. So like your story
Yeah.
begin.
Yeah. All right.
Just
So I feel like everybody always starts with like the fitness side of things, and so like we could start there, but I feel like I always talk about, we'll start actually more from like the present because I feel like it's more relevant, obviously, but I've always been very two-sided with like, I work really hard, but I play really hard. So even from my history, like I would get really good grades and, I was good in sports, but like I really liked to party and go out and have a good time. And so my whole life I've had that very like different dichotomy. So it all started from going and being a cheerleader and being in sports. And then eventually you get out and you start to gain weight because you start to eat good food and you start to drink and you're introduced to all these things. Yeah. And so then I started gaining weight, and then I got into lifting, and then it just kind of took off from there. I eventually went on to be a personal trainer at Crunch. I don't know if
Gotcha.
Crunch.
Yeah.
And I learned sales there at 19, and
go.
I didn't learn how to coach, but I learned how to do sales. But the way that I learned was to basically look really good so that I could sell all the men when I would sit in front of them at a table.
Wow.
Because
how it's done.
I was more confident in being able to like sell a guy than I was like, an overweight woman who was already insecure. I just didn't feel, I don't know. It just was harder for me to sell that. Yeah. So I learned sales through that, I guess. And I had a lot of male clients who basically just turned to therapy sessions and me talking and them being weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But so then that lasted, maybe 8 months. You make like very crap money. They
Yeah,
take
that's-
maybe 60% of your profits.
Yep.
And I was still in school, so I was working freaking 5 a.m. and I lived 30 minutes away, 5 a.m. up until like I would have clients until like 10 p.m. So it was miserable
Wow.
going to school.
I
It was a
personal
grind.
trainer for a little bit.
Dude, that's terrible.
It's terrible.
Wow.
Along with
Then
school,
you have
it's
stuff
just,
to work out, and you're like,
yes. And then
Yeah.
you're just trying to squeeze in between clients. And like, I will never forget this. I had these two friends that joined together and said that it was already cheaper because they got a deal. And I was fucking exhausted. It was like day 7 of just like 5 to 10. And this one, and I was just trying to like kill them. You know, I'm like just trying to do circuits, like just get in and out, like get the most out of this 30-minute workout. And next thing you know, this guy looks at me, he's like, and I was like, no. And he just throws up all over himself, all over the machine.
Oh.
It's 10. The workers that would, the maintenance
Clean
people
it up,
there,
gone.
because
Yep.
we're about to close.
Oh no.
The worst.
So here I am at 10 p.m. I got to be back here at 5 again. And so I got to be up at like 3:34. And so I'm just sitting there mopping up, just like fucking. So that was like the last straw where I was like, I'm out of here.
in person sucks.
It's
I did
so
it.
bad.
My average clientele. So I had my average age at the gym I was at was 65.
65.
Average
Where were you?
age.
Freaking like Anytime
You're-
Fitness
no,
or?
it's called Christie's. It's like a small.
Oh.
I mean, it was large. They actually got bought by Town Sport International, which they have a bunch of gyms.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just a retirement home, and like I just
That's
did
Florida.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah, like my
Yeah.
town is like an old person town.
Yeah, Bureau
A lot of
is.
money, but like so the money was decent, but it's like yeah, I mean my youngest client was 42, my oldest was 72.
Jeez.
So my workouts would be sit to stand. I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Come on," and I'd
literally.
just get them, and I'm like, this is so horrible. Like this is so miserable.
Yeah, no, it's not a good time.
And it's just
not.
like they want to talk to you because I'm young, and they just talk to me, and I'm like,
See what's
I mean,
going on in
you're
your
a
life and
therapist
what's
and
happening.
You're just
Yeah.
an ear to talk to
Yeah.
at that point.
it's just
Yeah.
all physical therapy too. Frozen shoulders, back. Like
It's
knee
rewarding,
replacement.
Yep.
but
Yeah,
it's not.
I had the coolest transformation. This guy, he was a Navy SEAL, and he had like double knee replacement. Like they had to cut off like 3 inches of his femur to like
Oh,
reattach
wow.
his. It was
Jesus
a
Christ.
nasty
Nuts.
surgery.
Yeah.
Parkinson's, a bunch of other things. In the first session, he couldn't even walk to me. I had to go grab him and like walk. Then the last session, I made him walk. Like he would walk across the gym eventually. Like didn't need me or hold on to anything because he had Parkinson's, so you can't really
Yeah,
move.
right.
Yep.
And then I got him to deadlift 135 pounds. He was able to do
Wow.
5 pull-ups and like do a bunch
Damn.
of different things. And he like almost started crying because I never thought I could do this again. Because
Yeah.
he used to
Right.
be this badass like
Yeah.
Navy SEAL, just
Yeah.
could do anything. And then now he's like crippled and couldn't do anything.
Debilitating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
then he was
that's
able
amazing.
to and everything. And
Yeah.
that's like the
They're
rewarding.
almost
Yes.
more rewarding to work
Yes.
with people like that just
Yeah.
because like they've seen a lot of life, they've experienced like what it is to feel good and they've lost that and then you can
Yeah.
give that back to them. So I will say I had a mix of people. I had like younger girls and I had mainly younger girls and then I would have my fair share of creepy men. And that was that. But that was
Yeah.
the final straw.
Yeah.
They threw up and I was like, one of them did, not both. God,
Yeah.
thank God that would have been bad. But the one guy threw up and I was like, all right, I have 1 week, I'm putting it in. And then I had hired a coach myself online. At this time, I wanted to do a competition. And so I realized like, it was Nick Comodino. And I was like,
Yeah.
he's fucking crushing it. And his assistant coach or head coach, Chelsea Stewart, she was also working with me in person and she was a client of his and then he hired her as an assistant coach. And I just saw how many clients she started having. At one point, I think she worked her way up to 130 as an assistant coach.
Wait, what the?
Nuts. She's
Insane.
I
Whoa,
remember
whoa.
following her like way before she blew up because then I started like taking off and doing.
Oh, she's a
bunch of-
killer.
Yeah.
She's on her own
She has her
now
own
with her
now, right?
with
Yeah.
her husband. They crush it too.
Yeah.
But she's a great coach. Like
Yeah.
Okay,
through and
okay.
through, a great coach. She like just always is posting about her clients.
Yeah.
Like it is her entire life. So it shows,
130
you know.
people.
Yeah, she gets a ton of referrals.
Since
So-
that's
Alright.
too much in my,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
mind. It's just too much.
I get up to like 30. and
Yeah,
I'm like,
30. I'm like, oh god.
That's a lot.
I'm on my check-in days. So I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like 2 to 3 days long, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3
Yeah.
days,
And
I have
like,
to go, like-
8 to 8, and I'm like, okay.
And then I have to go, like-
bust them out.
oh, but then I have to go like record because I do like Loom, and so I record
Yes,
their
I
app
see.
and everything, and I
Same.
sit there and just check in with them, and I'm like, I wake up and I just start my check-ins.
And just grind.
I don't eat. Like
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
don't eat.
You don't eat until like 2 p.m. I'm like, is this your first meal? And you're like,
Yeah, and
And
I'm like, I'm
dude, what's
bulking right
wrong
now,
with
so I have
you?
to eat 3,800 calories,
Oh.
and I'm like,
stuffing all this
Yeah.
food in.
I'll be
Oh
up
my
to like
God.
11 or 12 just sitting there peanut butter jar with my protein shake, and I'm like, this is so good.
I'm in bed at like
nasty.
1:30, and then I hear the stove turn. I'm like, Ian's still awake.
It's like eating. I'm like, this is
Oh,
horrible.
that's amazing.
But
Yeah.
I would not trade it for going back to in-person. It is so the
it is
best
so
thing.
much, or online is so much better. Yeah,
But that's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually curious, like, because you did a show. You did a show?
I did.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I really know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know
into
anything.
it.
So we're about to get good right now.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
great.
We'll get-
Yeah, we're gonna loop back around. I
I've
promise.
followed Mason for like years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I followed him way back before I even
Yeah.
got into social media. So it's actually still kind of like funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's
Yeah,
just,
we'll work our way up to when we met, and I'm sure he's
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I started working with Nick, and I worked with him for probably about 2 years. And he's a great coach, and he showed me a lot of like the potential that I had, and I didn't know that I had. And so I thought I hired him, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start competing now. You know how that works. He's like, you're gonna have like a year and a half of reversing, and I was like, fuck. So that was the first reverse I had ever done. There was like a mini cut thrown in there, but I had really started to get serious about macro tracking then. Before then, I had done keto, I had done intermittent fasting, I had like tried to eat as little as possible, all those fad diets.
Yeah.
And then I got into macro tracking, and then eventually I competed after working with him for I think 2.5 years, and I competed in bikini, and that was the first, and it was through COVID. So I'm trying to think of I had a 9-month prep. So I started dieting. It was
I thought I had
very
that.
bad.
It was like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Nine.
9 was.
I feel like
6
anything
or
for a
7 is-
dude like longer than like 4 months. Like
My
that's-
second show, I don't post photos of it. It's embarrassing. Like my coach, I'm not gonna name names, but I was like a water buffalo.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt
Just
like a
your
girl.
hormones
Like
and your
yeah.
cortisol was probably
That's
through
the
the roof
worst.
at that
Yeah,
point.
it was like
It's
a while.
bad.
I placed, luckily, because I was decent at posing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, everyone else up there was trash at posing, so I was able to place. But if I had the conditioning I had my first show, like, I would have probably gotten at least second.
Yeah.
Or done a hell of a lot better and felt
yeah.
better up there while you
Oh,
were too.
I felt I was miserable. But yeah, no,
it's
that's a
bad.
long prep.
9
9
months was
months?
bad, yeah.
Holy.
And it wasn't just because of COVID. Like we had a show planned for maybe a month or two prior, so it was still going to be a 7-8 month prep. But I just like I had stubborn body fat. Like I had up top, I was like ready probably 3 months in. And then my lower half was just so stubborn to get my tie-ins in. So anyways, it was a 9-month prep. So I competed in September of 2020 at a regional, like a local show. And then I placed second. And so I went on to nationals at my second show. And then I went September to November. So I was already like at like 50 carb, 35 fat,
Poverty macros.
140, 130 protein for like a month. And then I had to prepare until November for my national show. So it was like just gritty, just terrible.
Yeah.
Tell you what, low carb, my final weeks was 85 or got down like 70 carb and like 40 fat.
It's like barely anything.
0 carb was easier than that because you
Yeah,
get
'cause
a taste
you're
of
like,
carbs
oh.
and you're like, just a little bit more.
I know. At least you can like cut it off and it's like it's not
Yeah,
even
it's like-
on the menu,
Yeah.
so you don't even think
Pure
about it.
protein, like it's fine. But once you
Yeah.
get a taste of those carbs, you're like,
I know.
just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I will say I didn't have my carbs were coming from vegetables, so
Okay.
I was still counting veggies. I was still counting sauces, and like little extra additives. So that's where my carbs were coming from. Creamer in my
That's
coffee.
fair.
It wasn't coming from. She was there. You were there through it all. Oh man.
How did she do?
Oh man. So it was very low calorie, all of that, of course. And then I competed in November, but I had met him at Summer Shredding that October. So a month after of 2020, a month after me doing my first show, I met him. He was competing obviously in Summer Shredding. I was actually left this out. I was in a 5-year relationship at this point. So I had been in a long-term,
I didn't know that.
very committed relationship to a guy that I met in high school. And it was just not, he was a great guy, but I was like
all had those.
the motivator, the go-getter. I
Yeah.
basically just convinced myself that I was always going to be the breadwinner of my relationship.
That's
and
awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Slay.
So, and I had just kind of like accepted that because I was like, I'm never going to meet somebody who's going to be as much like driven as I am. I just didn't, because I thought if they were, they're going to be a
dive into
douchebag.
that.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive into that in a little bit.
But like I associated them with like douchebags who thought that they had it all. They were like show offs and I didn't want that. Like I needed somebody humble. So anyways, met him, and obviously everything changed, but he got up on stage, and I was literally, before I even met him, I was like, when I go back, I need to end this. It's just not working. I feel bad because for the last year I had been checked out, and we were just at that point, it was like friends, and we lived together and never saw each other. So I'd already planned to, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to be single. It's been 5 years. Like I'm now, and I was still obviously still very young.
Yeah.
How old were you? 22?
22 when I met
22?
him. Yeah. So
21 when I met you, and then you turned 22.
December.
When we first met in October, it was just like super chill, because I was also talking to somebody that I was like dating from San Diego at the time. I met this person in like July, visited her early August. When I went out there in early August, not to get into any of the details, but she was like still seeing somebody, didn't tell me about it. I went out there, and this this whole thing was like blowing up. So then I came back, and then like eventually just like was like, she came back to Chicago in September, and then it was like just still kind of weird because there was weird things going on. There was like people she was like seeing, it was just I was very naive at the time, because I hadn't even engaged in conversation or cared to look for one in like probably 2 or 3 years to that point. Yeah. So then I met her in like literally October 10th, and came home from that trip, and then told the girl that I was talking to in San Diego about like a couple days later, I was like, yeah, I just don't think this is like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, so
she was supposed to be there.
She was supposed to actually be at Summer Shredding, like to see my show.
Yeah, and she didn't show up.
I was like, yeah, come out. Like, you can meet like some of my good friends here in Houston. And then she got like sick and got COVID or something. And then right. So she got sick, couldn't make it out. I was like, all right, whatever. And then obviously things happened to unfold the way that they would have. Otherwise, if I was with somebody else, it would have never happened.
Yeah, if I was still in my committed relationship, it obviously wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But I was so checked out. But I did not want a relationship. I was like, I know. I was stab an eye out.
Yeah, so how did that go? You don't want a relationship, and then
it
did
happened.
You shoot him a DM? Or?
Yeah, well, I couldn't. Like, it's, when you meet somebody, and I feel like I have a good reading on people, so I just had this, like, draw too much. Sounds so stupid because I never believed in that. Like, I never believed in soulmates. I didn't believe in soulmates. I didn't believe in like love at first sight. I just was like, that's so dumb. Yeah. But then I saw him up on stage, and I was with my best friend Carly, and I was like, it's gonna be my next boyfriend. Like, literally claimed him. When the first time I saw him, everyone's like cheering for him that I knew. Like, Nick was there, everyone was cheering for him, and I'm like, who is that? And I kept like asking people, and I felt weird because I don't even do that. Like, I didn't even really care, but I did for some reason. And I always explain this to, like, you're so my type now, but he was not my type at the time. Yeah. I liked like dark hair, like like dark beard. But I was just like drawn to him. And then we went to an after party, just Chad's or Beyond Build's after party. And I went up and I talked to him because I'm a very outspoken person. So I was going to shoot my shot and just like talk to him. And then from there, I think I went to go say bye, and I was like, God, I hope he asks for my number. I hope he asks for something, but if he doesn't, I'm not going to do it. And then he's like, yeah, what's your Instagram? And I was like, fuck yeah. And then I gave him my Instagram, and then I was the one that slid in the DMs actually.
Oh, no way.
Over time, I would like comment on his story, something small.
It was like back in, like at first.
Wait, so is that the cue?
Is what the cue?
Like a girl that slides in says like, oh, something about your story, like
it
once
depends
every
on like
so
how
often.
how often it is, but like I don't know, from a girl's intention, like
it could
I wouldn't do that unless I had
like you have history with somebody, or like
you're friends
maybe
with them.
You hang out mutually with people. Then I don't know, it's hard to say, but yeah, I would say typically if there's somebody you just kind of met, it's fresh, there's some spark there, you're getting some DMs coming through, you might have something to investigate there a little bit. So I don't know, when she initially sent me a DM the morning after, and she was like, hey, I'm going to like Alphaland to like train one more time.
At the time.
Alpha Elite, and she was like, I'm going to train one more time before I leave, and I was like, I won't be able to make it, I said something, it was like, maybe almost like maybe our paths will cross at some point.
Say that.
Something like that. So because I was still kind of talking to somebody else, and I wasn't like fully there yet.
I know.
And then I was like, I'm going to leave this open, whatever. Went back to Chicago, and then we started like kind of a little bit here through Instagram stories, And then it kind of like picked up a little bit. And then there's this song like that we kind of hold very near and dear. So there's this. So do you guys know what the fuck's his name?
Bryson Tiller?
Do you guys know who Bryson Tiller is?
Yeah.
So there's this song called The Last Interlude, I think it's called.
Just Another Interlude.
Just Another Interlude.
Okay.
So there's this part in the song, whatever, great song, part in the song where it says,
Pray you get that job in
pray
Tampa.
you get that job in Tampa, or just like whatever it is, like has no relation, like job, whatever, but the Tampa part. And like I was like in Chicago, I was like, oh, it's like a beautiful day
you were
today.
still in Tampa, right?
And like I put this song in there. She happened to be listening to a lot of Bryson Tiller at the time.
Yeah,
and then like I
binge
dropped that in
listening.
there, and like we'd kind of sprinkled back and forth, but like she knew. She's like, oh, it did like.
I was like, wait, hold on. Is this a cue?
Yeah,
I was like,
like,
I'm gonna.
is he
And it was
like-
like 5 a.m. I think that you had posted. We were both early birds, and he posted like the view of his apartment, which was insane. And I like love the city too. And I was like, oh, I want to go visit too. And so I reached out and I was like, I forget what I said. Like that view's insane. But in my head, I'm like, you get that job in Tampa. Okay. So I'm going to keep pursuing lightly and tread the water lightly there. But eventually back and forth, I forget what I said, but you were like modeling at the time.
I was like I was creating like TikToks, but they were just like, cause my cousin was a videographer and we were in the city making TikToks and like we'd take cool pictures and I do like a cool little intro. Like I have my little like jacket on and like maybe throw some sun. It was like, just like shit like that.
And like the song was something like, I forget what it was.
It was the Arizona song. It was Arizona, like, Fuck My Life, or
yeah, Baby Come Fuck My Life Up.
it was
or
like
something-
FML
something-
by Arizona.
Okay, I don't know. It was
Yeah,
actually
you know
a
what
good
I'm
song.
talking about?
Yeah.
You probably, if you
Arizona.
played it,
What's
you
his
would
name?
you would know
Revis
it.
or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
That would play some all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
it was a good song, but I took my shot there and I was like, I volunteer as tribute. And
Wow.
then
Hunger
he,
Games.
yeah, I was like, I volunteer. And then I think from there he you realize.
Yeah, and then we were
Right.
just going back and forth, and then there was like I forgot, there was like one like thing that was like funny to us at the time. It was we were only going through Instagram at the time, and it was like I asked for like your number or like Snapchat or something, and it was like, oh, like which one do you want? And I think I said or you said like I want both. They're like
I said
it was
I
something
want
like
both,
that, something
something
cheesy
dumb.
or corny like that. But looking back, it was like hilarious.
Yeah, our
So
DMs are
it's like,
cringy now when we think about it.
Yeah, but
It was, So that's
That's how
and
it
then the rest
started.
of that was kind of history. And then 2 weeks later, I flew out to see him, and I was 2 weeks out from my national show, and we ordered Chick-fil-A. We got insomnia cookies. I had a cupcake. It was right before like 2 weeks. I was at that point at 9 months in. I'm checked out. I'm like, I just met somebody who I could potentially be with for the rest of my life, and I've never felt that way before.
Yeah.
So I don't give a shit what I'm eating, and I'm gonna have a good time
Oh,
in
you felt
Chicago.
so good when you
I
ate
felt
that.
Oh, yeah.
amazing. I felt
That
amazing.
next workout the next day.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. Yeah, I had to do like 45 minutes of stairs the next morning on like 3 days that we had together. But anyway, so that's how we met. Past that point, I have my master's in exercise science. And I'm really passionate about like hormones and stuff now because I went through a whole other journey now that we've been together. We moved to Chicago briefly. I went through a crazy like hormone imbalance, which I had never experienced to this extent. And so it made me very passionate about like what we do now and why we incorporate it into what we do. Cause not only can you literally barely lose body fat if you have all these issues, but like you're inflamed, you can have depression, you can have anxiety. And so that was a challenge within our relationship within itself.
Yeah.
And now we're past that point, and then we moved back to Houston, obviously. We created our business over a year and a half ago, and things are great. Not over a year and a half ago, a little over a year, though.
like 15 months
15
ago.
months,
15
almost a year and a half.
And you were already doing coaching before you guys.
I
joined,
was,
right?
yeah. There's so many different avenues about like where you start from, you
Yeah.
know, of like my life. But I was an assistant coach under Nick for about a year, I want to say, and I learned a lot under them. So I learned, more about obviously how to be a better coach. But since he was my coach for a while, I was like able to kind of pass what he learned on to my clients, and I got up to a point of 65 clients, I believe. And so money was very good, and at the time he had his business going. And so we were both doing online coaching, and it worked out. So I was able to actually keep some clients. He was nice enough to do that. Keep some of my clients that were my direct leads, with me. So I brought about like almost close to 30 clients directly, to our business. And it was easy. And then once we launched our business, we talk about it all the time. I had like so many women that were in there that had never heard of some of the offers that we were doing. It was always like apply to coaching, throwing my link up. And now all of a sudden it's like, we're giving coaching away for free, or we're going to do this challenge. And it was just like so many women that have even been from like high school that were just like so eager to do something. And then,
that's something I want to talk about. All right. So that's the next thing I want to dive into, because y'all run a lot of offers.
We do.
And, one thing that Ian and I have been talking about a lot is a lot of people want the money before they're actually giving anything. Yeah. So when y'all run an offer, how do y'all know what to run specifically? And this is a free offer too.
Yeah. So it typically just varies on where we're at and what we've run in the past. So for us, we will only typically cycle between 3 types of offers, like a training, that's like a webinar, show up for 1 to 3 days, a free challenge, which is 2 to 4 weeks long, or we'll give away a scholarship in terms of free coaching. So with the scholarship, the buy-in's like, hey, we're going to give 2 or even 3 6-month coaching packages away. Challenges, we'll give away some cash prizes and some stuff during the 3 weeks, but we'll also give a $1,000 grand prize to the winner. And then a webinar is very similar in terms of like, we'll give away a bunch of prizes, Fitbits and shit like that, or maybe like $300 in cash. And on the back end, maybe give them a free month of coaching to like offers up something to get someone to book a call. So in terms of what we run and when we run it, it typically just varies. Like we ran a scholarship at the beginning of the year, and we were in a flow last year where it was like offer, 2 weeks off, offer again, 2 weeks off, offer again. And it's easy.
Yeah, no, I saw you.
Because
I was
y'all were running offers like every fucking week, and I'm like,
and the thing is,
how important is giving for free? How important is?
Oh, I think it's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, were you gonna add on to that?
Well, I was gonna say and we can talk about like the offers and how it can both be a negative thing too. But I think as far as like how important is like giving, I think it's more important to do like showing up on your stories and not necessarily having it be like, hey, you have to enroll in this challenge. Our challenge is still amazing, and we give so much free value. So it is a huge way that we give back, but also like literally just, we've read some people's blood work for free, and we've been gone back and forth in the DMs, and I'm telling people like, hey, you should do this and that. And like, so I think that is more important than just always doing offers. Because the offers, to be honest, are also a way that we're able to make more money and bring more leads in. So it goes both ways. But I think like giving without the expectation is something that we have started to get more into and like really just accept, because when you give somebody all this information and they don't even care to book a call, it's frustrating. Yeah. You're like, you just took up so much of my time, my very valuable time, but you have to start to get away from that. And like, maybe one day they'll buy, or maybe they won't, and like they'll refer you, or maybe they never will, and karma's going to come back.
Exactly. That's the exact segue. What I wanted to go into was how do you switch that mindset from giving and then having zero expectation for them to give anything back to you? Because that just happened to me as of recently, and I wanted to get y'all's perspective on it. Like even last night, this guy, he has my phone number because he was like an old client of mine. He shot me a text and he was like, "Hey man, like I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Well, dude, yeah, of course. Like, shoot me a call."
Right.
And he was like, "All right, how much?" And I'm like, "How much what?" And he was like, "I want to pay you." And I'm like, "No, like just call me. Yeah. Like I'll be here, bro." Yeah. We talked for like 55 minutes to an hour, and like I didn't expect him to give anything to me, and it's like that mindset for me shifted about 3 to 4 months ago. But how did that shift for y'all's company in specific?
Yeah, it started to shift more as we started to put more emphasis on like we're building something that is more than just what we can do inside 30 days. So like that changed, and our perspective around like how much we make in 30 days also shifted in the past couple months. Pretty much like since we were on the podcast last time, October towards the end of the year, October, November were like really weird months for us. There was like a lot of weird shit going on. Where like revenue came down a little bit, things came up in December, but it gave us a lot of perspective on like, cause when like you have months that kind of take a dip, like you typically feel like a shittier person. Just now, like you feel like,
you're failing.
fuck, like
100%.
my business is shit. It's like, where can I
This year,
cut
though, it's like-
expenses? Like,
no, exactly, 100%.
like everyone
yeah.
feels that.
You go into
Everyone gets that
scarcity
pressure.
mode like
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
So like we put ourselves in the perspective like, okay, like, you know, granted we might not always have like the record breaking month or this and that. So like we shouldn't have to focus so much on trying to throw out offers and trying to like, you know, cause it's exhausting. Like granted, like we can run offers as much as we did last year and probably make more money than we did last year and, you know, have, you know, 7-figure run rate months consistently, but it's going to be fatiguing. It's exhausting. We're burning through our audience consistently.
Yeah.
We're having to keep up with more consistent content that's getting more eyeballs to our stuff, or we can take a step back, realize that like put more focus into other projects and other buckets, put more focus into our team and building out and improving our systems and product, which is always going to continuously change. And just like realizing that, you know, we're content. Like even if like literally if we break even in terms of us living expenses, paying out our payroll on our team throughout the entire year, we are still fine and our life changes zero.
Yeah.
So we had to
Like,
get out of that
at
like
all.
scarcity mode because we're like, why are we
Yeah.
stressing? Like,
Yeah.
That's something
No
that
need.
shifted
And that's-
from, I mean, because obviously you told about like last year, kind of told you what happened. Going to this year, that was like a big switch for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of chasing. I'm sick of it. Like, I just
Right.
need to feel happy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, you know, if I just make enough to cover all my expenses, cool.
Right.
That's fine. I'll do it. If I have to do some Uber Eats to pay some debt, whatever. Like, I
Sure.
really don't even care.
Yeah, of course.
And I think bringing that like just being so genuine now and like just trying to help people. I don't even
Right.
care. I give away like free programs. I give away free nutrition guides.
Yep.
I mean, just talk about it, and then I go on live on TikTok and I just talk to them, and they ask me like, I've been doing this, and I'm like, oh, just
Yep.
do this. I have people who are 400 pounds, and they're like, I'm like, dude, you can do it, and you're just like so genuine.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm getting the most leads I've ever gotten before,
Yep.
but I didn't even expect it. I don't even care if they sign up, but it's
Right.
like.
that's it.
I just feel like more content and happier, and the revenue is gonna come, and that's what I've realized. Like I'm not
Right.
going broke. Like it's not going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, I think kind of answer your question of like how it switches. I don't even think there's like any
Yeah.
way to do it. You just have to.
I think it's a learning lesson.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You have
like
to
you
go-
can spend
yeah.
all this time being bitter about how people aren't going to pay you for your time or how you just wasted your time. And there's still moments where we definitely are like, oh my God, this person is a leech. And like they just, even though they've said no about even wanting to hop on a call, it's like they continue to ask and ask. And at some point, I think there is a boundary there.
Yeah,
There's a
of course.
boundary where you're like, this is not, I've given you as much as I
Right.
should.
Yeah.
But past that point, you know that like there's so many people that need help, and that if you give help to them, they're going to pass it on to somebody else, and then that person might come back to you. And so like I always just believe like doing it without expectation, it's always going to come back, whether it's from that person financially or in a good deed. Like it'll always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually had an experience about that last year. I don't think I told you. I met this girl at the Arnold though. Maybe I did, but I was just really nice to her. I just told her. I helped her out a little
actually,
bit.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell me about her. Yeah.
I get back, I think it was like a month or 2 months later. She's like, hey, I have somebody who wants to buy like 6 months up front or something
Oh,
like that.
wow.
She wasn't even signed with me. And
Yeah.
and I got a client. I was like, heck yeah,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
is sweet. I just got to pay them full for this. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right.
And it was just because, I was just like super nice. And then now I'm getting a bunch of like, referrals going this year from people. One guy's not even in my program anymore. He just referred it.
Yes,
And
that's huge.
And he's going to come back in the future. But it should be genuine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It will happen. Like you will get the growth back.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be authentic and your intentions. And I think when you are going towards a certain revenue target all the time, you lose sight of what it is you even created this for. And then that's what happened to us. It was like
Exactly.
higher month. And
Yep.
it's like more money. And I'm like, fuck, what are we even doing?
Yeah.
And why do we need all this money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the purpose?
Like,
And
what is our
Yeah.
purpose?
I don't think, because right now, especially like we're all kind of in the business world, and
Yeah.
the whole thing is like, this is how you make 10K a month,
Yes.
right? And it's like, I don't think people understand, dude. 10K a month is a fuck ton of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's,
Like-
and it's hard to get
Yeah.
there if
Yeah.
you're organic. Like,
Yes.
it's hard.
And there's like levels to also learn how to manage that much money.
Yeah.
Like I've never, before last year, I never hit 10K a month in my life. Never got close to it. The most I ever made was like right at like $3,000 or $4,000 in a month.
Yep.
So when I hit 10,000, I was like, what do I do with
Yeah.
all this?
Yeah.
And then I said I invested in my business. Horrible investment. But,
Yeah.
but it's like, I think that was another learning lesson is just that I didn't even know how to manage that much money.
Right.
Yeah.
So I believe there's also like levels too when you start making more money of how to even like keep that money and like still grow on top of it because they can go really fast. But
very true.
I mean, we found it was just investing it. It's like the more money you have, the more you spend. And a lot of people will say like, continue to save your money, save it. But like we invest most of it right back into the business, whether it's in the business or into ourselves. And then obviously now we travel a lot. So that's another piece, but
I see. That's another. Did you want to ask anything about this topic?
no, I think I'm good.
Okay. I wanted to ask about y'all's traveling experience because that shit's sick.
we travel a
Y'all going
lot.
everywhere.
Oh my God.
We
It's awesome.
do. We do.
It's God, yeah, no, like January was like a really high spend month, but like granted we are like in January there was also like our team, and then we were paying almost like 10 grand into a mentor, and then we're also writing a book, and that's a big
Y'all writing a
investment.
book?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
writing a book right now.
We'll get it. Yeah, we'll
No.
table that for a
I've seen a
second.
story, like, I
way.
can't wait to release this.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're going to talk about that later.
We'll
Okay.
table that for right now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So with our travel, like, because we look at our expenses and we're like, holy.
Oh my God,
Like,
it's
we're
actually
like,
like
okay, like
sickening.
we're making good money. You know, granted we pay our team, we have all this profit, and then half of it, like if not more than half of it, goes on like travel, like just regular, like our regular living expenses, like are very normal for two normal human
Yeah.
beings. Like
We are not very, as I say that, I just got my lips done, but we're not.
She's like, I'm not very.
We're not very, like, I wouldn't go and get like a Louis Vuitton bag, even though I
Yeah.
easily could. I wouldn't go get all this stuff because I don't really care about it. But like, sometimes we're like, where's our money going? And we think we're spending it recklessly, but like, we're just traveling a lot.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
if there's anywhere for it to go, I'm so glad it's going there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
Experiences. I mean, you
Totally.
don't want to look. You don't want to probably be like 80, have like
Yes.
a bunch of money
For
stacked
what?
in the bank, and been like, I should have just spent some more money.
And
on
we think about that
travel.
all. We
Right.
think about
Like-
that all the time. It's like, okay, like we have like funds where we could like start making investments, and we have more money that's sitting there than like if so like someone who knows anything about investing in finance would be like, you guys are fucking like
Why are you
losing.
not investing it?
Yeah, why aren't you
Yeah.
investing your money? But it's like we have time. Like we're going to that's something we're going to do this year. But like when I think long term, when I think like everyone's like, oh, you gotta start creating all this wealth, and I know like how much like I'll probably need at some point to like be satisfied. And it's like even if I do, like I'm in my 70s and I have 8 figures invested, like
For what?
for what?
Yeah.
For my
Like,
legacy?
I'm gonna
For
die.
I
my-
think about the same thing.
I'm gonna
now.
die,
I'm
and
like-
it's not gonna mean anything. And if you guys have probably maybe heard Alex Hormozy say this, but he's like, I'm gonna like make all this fucking money. As soon as I die, it's all going to charity. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
so
giving
he
it
said,
to
I'm
my
not gonna,
kids.
like pour like fucking couple $1 billion into my
Yeah.
19-year-old son.
No.
Like,
He
Yeah.
preaches. He's like when I die, like people are always saying, Alex, why do you spend so much money eating out every day and doing all?
Right.
He's like, okay, if I die with 5 billion less, I still have 10 billion. Like,
Right. Yes.
he's like, it was just more convenient. I enjoyed life more. And I
Right.
think a lot of people, they can't fathom that much money.
Right.
Like, they
Yeah.
don't understand. So they think because you got it, it's like you guys will never be able to create it again. But what I've learned too is like, as you make more money, you learn how to. It's like, you know how to do that forever.
Yeah.
For the
Right.
rest of your life.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
It
Crazy.
also goes back to like, I'm very much so about like having an abundant mindset. So if you're constantly like scared about money, or it's like you don't know where it's coming from, like be open to the fact that if you've created it, you can create it again and again.
Yeah.
And like the more I do find, I feel like obviously if you're spending recklessly, you're an idiot. But like you can spend. There's a balance to be had there. But like if you're sacrificing the quality of your life and you're not going to get your Starbucks in the morning because you're trying to save every single penny, you could die tomorrow. Death does not
Yep.
discriminate. So why are you saving every penny? So that's kind of where we're at. Like we do spend a lot of money on travel and we travel a lot, but I would not have it any other way.
Agreed. Yeah, and with our travel, like, dude, it's like a minimum. Like we got in here into March and we're like, thank God, like no travel, nothing. And then I completely forgot, like we're going to see our mentor next week in New York City. And I'm
There
like,
you go.
fuck, like, and then we had to like book
Poor
flights,
honey.
but
I
we,
know. She has a great
it's
program.
nice. Like
Yeah,
we
that's
fly so much. Last year with Southwest, you can get a companion pass. So like she flew free with me all the
That's
time.
what TJ has. Yeah.
Best thing ever. And like when we do travel, like we don't, like we have the funds to be like bougie, but like we don't.
Yeah.
Really
Like
care about that.
I'm gonna go get just a normal Airbnb. We're gonna split it with a couple of buddies. I'm gonna fly fucking Southwest Airlines anywhere around.
Yeah.
I don't need
No
to be
first
first
class,
class.
like,
I don't
I got my
know.
A list. We got a companion pass. Like I'm good. But like, yeah, we're very fortunate enough to travel. Like April, we're gonna be, so we're going to New York City, 22nd of March. We're going to Phoenix for a week for our mentor's event, plus to see him again. and then we're coming back from Phoenix. We are going to
San Diego
for our team retreat. And then we're immediately getting back. Next day, we're going to St. Barth's with Allie, where she's from in fucking France.
It's an island of France.
An island of France. But it was like crazy deal because her whole family.
Holy shit.
Her whole
That's
family,
all by the
she
end of
grew up there.
April.
Her whole family's there. The villa we're getting typically rents for like a couple thousand a night, and
More
we're
than
getting
that,
it for like the week for $1,000 flat.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's great.
and then so it's
Yeah.
like we're getting a crazy deal to go out there. So it's like, why not? But like that's how crazy things are. And then fucking
It doesn't slow down for me.
May, I got to go back to Chicago for Mother's Day to see my family, and then we got to go.
We're going to Vegas.
I'm going to see like my college buddies. We're going to like hike the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
like
dude, yeah.
all 24 miles of it, and then we're gonna spend a day in Vegas, and we're coming back, and then
It just goes
it just
on.
doesn't
Oh
stop.
my
So it's
gosh.
like there's always shit going on, but that also like gives us like anxiety around having to always work.
Yeah.
You know, we're gone for 4 days, trying to fit in sales calls. You wake up, you fucking missed one. You're like,
Oh,
fuck.
it's the worst.
Like there's just so much shit that happens.
That's kind of what I want. Like, how did y'all? Because I don't travel that much.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, we
I
don't.
So how do y'all manage that business?
That goes
on-
back to like, truthfully, like the work hard, play hard. Like there's sacrifice of sleep. There's sacrifice of my mood because I'm annoyed they're gonna take a sales call while I'm with friends. Like there's times where I gotta step away from family or from friends, but now they know that. Like my family knows when I'm there. Like I'm not taking a day off of work.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna work early. So typically, how we manage that is we wake up around like. Usually lately it's been closer to like 6, but we'll wake up still early when we're traveling and we work for like a couple hours, and hopefully that gives us time to go explore and do things.
Yeah.
But sometimes like, you know, we'll have to step away midday to take a call, or like we've taken calls in the most random places,
Yeah.
like not just airports, but like little cafes
I feel
somewhere.
that.
Like,
I feel that.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I've made a sales call on HEB and
Yeah.
sold them.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
At a
Sometimes
grocery
the
shop.
new environment actually helps a
It
little
became
bit.
like a challenge. We're like,
No, it was. We were
we're
like-
where can we sell them?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
weirdest spot. We're like, we just made the beach. We'll be like, just
Yeah.
in weird spots.
Yeah.
Walmart,
Yes.
like.
Oh my God.
And it's almost, I think about that too. And when I've been in like one of the most like randomest scenic, like just different place than like sitting right here taking a sales call, it's sometimes like the most flowy
Yeah.
I am. Like I feel so relaxed. I'm asking like incredible questions I didn't know I had in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything's just boom, boom, boom.
It's funny.
Yeah.
We went to Tulum in December. We had no intention of going to Tulum. We were actually tired of travel, and we knew we were going to go back to Chicago about a week after that for Christmas for like over a week. And but we had like he said, stale months, October, November. Like financing options were weird. All this stuff happened, and we were in our heads, and we were so stressed talking about like, are we doing things correctly? Are we going backwards? Like just constant conversation. And we're like, screw this. We're stressed about money. We're not even enjoying our time. Let's go book a random trip because we need it for our mental health at this point. So booked a trip for Tulum, which is actually very cheap, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very cheap.
Yeah.
So we booked it and we flew out like 3 days later after we decided we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we just went out on a limb, and we ended up pulling in like a ton of money and calls when we were in Tulum. And it was like, we weren't even trying. We weren't even
Yeah.
trying. People reaching out like, hey, I kind of want to sign up now, or like, hey, I'm good to go now, or just new calls being booked. So Wi-Fi was crap, and we had to take a lot of sales calls there, but it was like such a high, and we ended up in December having a very high month organically. And we were in Tulum to wrap it up. So it's like
Wow.
sometimes just like,
That's
incredible.
stop stressing, stop being in the scarcity mindset, go live life, and like give back to your people, and it will come your way. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I love, like, it's always fun to just take sales calls in those freeing spots. Because when you sell them too, you get that feeling of like, I just made this much money.
And I'm
Yeah.
here.
I'm like chilling.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
just
wherever.
walking around. Yeah.
I just bought my meat from HEB. Thanks for buying my groceries.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like, it is a really good feeling because
It
it's
is.
just like, you just have such a great conversation.
Yeah,
But
and it just kind of reminds you can impact anybody from anybody, like anywhere. Like, yes, it benefits you that you just closed the sale, but now you like are on the trajectory to change this person's life, and you just did it in HEB. Like,
Yeah.
Literally.
so it's cool. Yeah.
And no, I think the scarcity mindset does, it comes in waves. It does
does.
happen. And I
It's
think
bound to
it's
happen.
super. And what I keep telling myself is, if you can make $1 or one sale, you can make 100,000, or you can
Oh,
make
yeah.
$1 million.
Totally.
Like, if
Easily.
you just got to find them, that's it. And
Yep.
eventually
Yeah.
just keep on putting the work. And I think that's why a lot of people give up on businesses and stuff, is because They just aren't willing to work if they know they're not. They don't know if they're gonna get paid or not.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
There isn't, I believe if you keep working really hard, like there is a definite yes. Like as long as you don't give up and you keep putting in work, I think there's a definite yes that you can succeed.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people can't see that and they understand
Exactly.
the work that goes into it without a whole lot of payoff. And so then they
Think
fall
it's
back to,
impossible
let me
or-
go back
Exactly.
to a corporate job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I talk about a lot. I'm like, because I have a lot of people in my community that ask about like, yo, dude, I want to start this business. They like want to get my like opinion on it. I'm like, dude, I don't like just start it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
Just
I don't know
start.
if it's gonna work. And I'm like, well, how the fuck do
How am I
know?
gonna know?
How am I gonna know
Like,
that?
I don't do
Or
it
they'll
either.
say, I think it's too saturated. I'm like,
No.
how
Yeah.
many people are in the world? There's 8 billion.
Yeah.
I'm like, go look at the market cap. It could be 100 million, 300 million. I'm like, are you making that much?
Yeah.
Like, no, then obviously it's not saturated.
Yeah.
Because you
Right.
put the market the best.
Go tell
Yeah.
somebody you're an online coach in the world and they're going to be like, online coach?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
they're
not
like-
oversaturated.
Yeah. And when I like sometimes get like just kind of scarcity mindset, I just go look at my window and I see all the cars and I drive like
Same.
look at
Yes.
Houston. I'm like,
We go up top.
I just need
Yeah.
like 40 of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, when you think about scarcity minds, so we, I don't know. So you guys know V-Shred?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever heard of
Oh my
V-Shred?
God, yeah.
V-Shred last year made $450 million.
What the?
And
Are you kidding me?
Been around for a decade.
so when you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like scarcity, like, oh my God, like just think about how much more potential, like, and that guy's, like, he's got good offers, great ads,
Yeah.
but like not the best business,
Yeah.
not the best
Yeah.
product in the world. So it's like,
No more- it's no
that's what
longer
we talk about all the
personal.
time. It's like,
He's just been around forever.
he's just been around
Yeah.
longer,
Kept doing
and
it.
he's backed by a venture capitalist firm, which had just fuel injected ads of like hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's just able to fucking pump like a motherfucker more than
His ads
Dude,
show
his
up
ads are
everywhere.
you can just
Everywhere.
outspend the whole market.
And
like,
he
it's
just got
crazy.
into it before online coaching became a
Totally.
big thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the,
He's a good looking dude and he
Yeah.
attracts a lot of women
Yeah.
that are vulnerable.
I didn't even know the company
great
was 4
testimonials.
people. He kind of runs the face of it, and there's 3 other guys in the background, and then they're backed by a venture capital firm.
Holy.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's huge, yeah.
So it's like if you can prove to like eventually, like if you wanted to sell your business to like a firm like that, like, and you can prove that your product is great, and then you could also pitch a case study like, hey, this guy's doing this. We got these ideas and all this product. We just need the investment. Like, you could probably fucking do
Yeah.
crazy,
That's
crazy.
Yeah, you
numbers,
totally
yeah.
can.
And what's
Yeah.
also cool too is, especially for anybody like that wants to grow like a personal business, like one-on-one coaching or something. Today with social media, a lot of people are like fake now, or like V-Shred. It's just people
Yeah.
are like, it's not one-on-one. It's really not
Right.
like personal anymore. So if you have any type of business that's like super personal now, people will love that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
They
Yes.
want
Love
to
it.
have,
Huge.
and so like that, you can make a lot of money.
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
what's going to
dude.
also be like, you're not competing against V-Shred because it's just totally different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely
people
different.
I had a guy leave V-Shred, sign with
I
me.
remember that.
And he's like, dude, this is already better than V-Shred.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Because it's
Yeah.
more personalized
Yeah.
and customized.
And he's
Yeah.
like, I feel like I gotta actually talk to you and everything like that. So
Yeah.
Yes.
it's like, yeah, no, it's crazy. So much money in the fitness industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is.
It's
So much untapped.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much untapped.
And it's cool because to go on the saturation thing, people are scared to talk to other people in their space.
yeah.
And it's like y'all do so much more than me and Ian, but like y'all aren't afraid to give like y'all's secrets or whatnot
Right.
because
Yeah.
we
It's
target
another
comple-
scarcity
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah, we
Why
target
would
completely
I?
different people.
Like we have
Yeah.
completely different demographics that like engage with our shit that
Yeah.
like that's I mean early on like that was like something I always thought about too is like oh, if they're doing well that's like gonna affect me or like
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
thought-
me
yes.
like in me collaborating with you that's just not gonna work like
So
but then
dumb.
you think about it, it's like that is the stupidest shit because like the people that now like after having run my business for a couple of years now, like you see the caliber of people that come through and it's like okay, that makes sense you're coming to me because
Yeah.
we just mesh well.
Yeah.
Like that's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all attract different demographics.
Right.
Yeah.
They buy into
There's
the
literally
person.
like
Exactly.
Dom, for example, he talked to me and then talked to you, signed up with you because
Yeah.
you,
Who did you connect
because
with?
you can prep him and I can't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
the whole
different,
point.
like, yeah, strengths and weaknesses and that we can do and everything.
I've never
It's
done a
like,
bodybuilding show. He has. He can prep, and it's like
Right.
obviously choose him. Don't choose me.
Right. No, yeah. Sometimes it's like most of the time it makes sense. So
Yeah.
like just be who you are, be authentic. You're gonna
Yep.
draw the right people in and you're gonna enjoy what you do so much more rather than chasing the income and like just
100%.
getting anybody through
you
the
don't
door.
need that many clients to make
You don't.
a good business
No,
run.
you don't. You don't
Like
at
we
all.
were, that was another thing. We were almost like the end of last year, and like you
Even
get
now.
you get in these swings where like shit's fucking super annoying. You
Yeah.
realize like for us, like full transparency, like we pay our team when we pay our whole team, like our coaches, everybody, it's like close between like $24,000 to like $29,000 a month. So it's like every month we send out a bill.
Yeah.
That's like
a lot
that
of money.
much. So
It's
it's
a
like,
lot, yeah.
and most of our payments we accept are paid in fulls. And it's like, okay, then I gotta like, fuck, I gotta, you know, come up with 30K, and then like that's like my base, and then I
Yeah.
gotta get everything. So then that's what we can take home. It's a different game. And then like,
Yeah.
you know, we'll get in swells where it's like, fuck, what if we just like put the whole business to a side? We coached ourselves. We sold super high ticket.
We have a
We
wait
just
list.
created a wait list. Even if we just like pulled like 50K a month, that'd be fucking all we would ever need. And like
And
things
it's
would be
less
chill.
stress.
Yeah.
But then it's like, wait, okay, less stress, less people, but I'm coaching 65 people again.
And we just scaled. We spent so much time to scale, and now
Right.
we're going to not scaling. But it goes back to like, what do you want? And you know, we get caught up in the nuances of how hard running a business, managing people
Yeah.
is
Oh my gosh.
hard.
It's
I'm in the
So
very.
hard.
I'm like step point
Yeah,
2.
you guys obviously.
Yeah, we're like, y'all are on like step like a lot. We're me and Ian are like maybe step 1 now.
But you understand, like,
Yeah.
not just like you got to feed yourselves, and
Right.
that is
Yeah.
difficult, and you have to deliver to your clients, and you're questioning,
Right.
are you good enough, and can I scale this thing? So there's a lot of pressure more than anything, and that's what makes
Right.
it really difficult, and a lot of responsibility. But as you grow, and as you have to feed other people's mouths, and
Yeah.
they rely on
That's
you,
yeah.
right.
that is what has caused me more stress than I could have imagined. And when you're an empathetic person, you care for people, and that's hopefully most of
100%.
the
Yeah.
people.
And when you own a business, majority of people are.
Right.
And that was
Right.
something that, man, it caused me a lot of stress last year, bro. When I had my assistant, I'm like, fuck, you're like, she has a family. She has
Right.
a family.
Yeah.
5 kids.
Yeah.
I gotta make some fucking money.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta feed her kids.
You can't
Yeah.
stop
Scary.
sales calls. You can't just like hit a minimum. You're like, shit, I really gotta.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just closing this sale to help this person. I'm also feeding 11 other
Yeah.
people's mouths from this sale.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
So
right.
it's a lot of like stress. And so we go in phases, and not to mention, you think it's all fine and dandy when you hire people, but you're also going to have to fire people.
Exactly.
So that part is like a whole other thing that
Shit
we've
sucks.
gone
Yeah.
through. It sucks. You
Yeah,
guys
it
have probably
sucks.
experienced
Yeah.
it.
I was
sucks.
a director of the kitchen at Chick-fil-A, so
You've
I've
had
I actually
You've literally had to fire people.
I've
like, on
had
the spot.
to so we would have like trainers, and then we'd have like shift leaders, and then team leaders, and then I was the director, so I managed everybody. So the team leaders were like the head managers if I weren't there, and they would run the shifts. I've had to demote team leaders to a team member again, and they still worked, and I had to like.
Oh, that's hard.
That's weird.
That's hard. Yeah.
And it was like I've had
That's
contracts with them.
incredibly
If they
awkward.
talked bad, I'd fire them immediately. And like, it was actually as I came into the role too, because I was a front of house employee, so I didn't know anything about back of house. But I've always had like, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I've always had like decent
Pat yourself on the
leadership
back.
with
Right.
like the owners always liked me, and I've always like led shifts really good. So he was like, their old back house director was like trash. Apparently, I didn't really know much, but he just wasn't good. So they fired him. They said, Ian, I need you. And I'm like, I know nothing about the kitchen.
Right.
So I got put in this position and had to like fix the culture. Had to get trained on how to do everything in the kitchen while going to my team leaders and like writing contracts like, hey, we got to create a better culture. I have to demote you. I have to do that. That
It's
was
a lot.
Goddamn.
Oh
lot
my
of
gosh.
pressure, a
I
lot of
was-
stress.
It's intense.
Everyone looked at me like first shift. I'm like, wow, I'm like the only director. And usually they have like 2 to 3 directors. And I had to run everything because they didn't want to hire another
Oh
director.
my
So,
God.
28.
Yeah.
But the call that I have is like lighting out a fire. So of
Yeah.
like somebody who's not happy, and it goes on the coach, and then it looks on us. And so it's like, that is something that you have to think about as you grow. Do you want to deal with that stress? Truthfully, more money, more problems. Like it really is the case.
Right.
And the problems cause a lot of stress. And sometimes we doubt that. Like, do we even want this kind of
Yeah.
stress?
Because it's like you'll be going to bed at like 11 or 12 in the morning, and then you're like, I have to wait. Like I haven't made the money today, and I have to wait.
Yep.
Like, should I even go to bed? Should I work till 4 in the morning?
Right?
Should
Or
I, like,
do I grind harder? Yeah, there's always
And,
those doubts.
So it definitely, that's like the stress can be super overwhelming, and it's like you'll finish a day and you may have done a crap ton of work, but maybe you didn't bring in revenue, or you're still like stressing about money or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're like, should I do more? Do I even deserve
Right.
to sleep? Like,
Yeah.
do I, like
Yeah.
should I?
Yeah.
I probably should do more, and so
Yeah.
that's like the hardest part for sure.
Yeah.
And I can tell you too, like to piggyback off of that, we reached this point when we had moved to Chicago, and now I'm living in a place that I thought I had dreamed about. Like we had a gorgeous apartment. I was like, I have the place, I have the partner, I have the friends, I have the money, I have my health. what the hell else do
Yeah.
I need?
Uh-huh.
And so I had reached this like pinnacle of what I thought I was ever going to need to be happy. And I actually was miserable at the time. And it was like, this wasn't what was going to fulfill me. I just reached this at 23 years old and I'm not happy at all. Like, what the hell is past this? Like, what do I have left in my life?
That's the next thing I wanted to dive into was because me and Ian talk about this almost like every week is just like purpose. And I love to get everyone's different perspective on
Opinions
it.
on it.
Because it was the same thing with both of us. I mean, I don't know if I can speak for Ian on this, but
I mean,
it's pretty much the same.
Started
Like
coaching. My first month of coaching, I hit 5K. Next month, I hit 7, and then like going into, I hit 10K.
Yeah.
Like 3 months, like actually, I was like, this
Wow.
is easy money.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just boom,
and
boom,
we
boom.
thought it
Yeah.
was like because we got sold into like 10K month you're good, and it's
Yeah.
like that's what's gonna give us happiness.
But
And
then
then,
like,
you know,
then,
like
like 20K. We're
Exactly.
like, oh, and it's like, it just felt like such a chase. It's just
Yeah.
chase
Yes.
to chase.
Chase.
And then like I remember January and like February, dude, I was just like, I hated life. I
That's
I
the
didn't
same
even want to
with
wake
me, yeah.
up. I would wake
Yeah.
up like 9, 10.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, getting out of bed. I'm like, whatever. Like this is, I don't even know what I'm doing. I hate
Yeah.
filming content. I hate
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
and then I just felt like it was a chore. And I'm like, I just moved out to Texas. I'm making
Yeah.
the most money I've ever made in my life.
Yep.
And I'm doing this social
Miserable.
media thing. And people are looking at me like, dude, you live the life. You're doing
Right.
social media.
Yeah.
You work remote. You're an online coach. And I'm like,
we're over here like fuck, dude. Like this
Sucks.
shit sucks.
Yeah.
Like, like man, I had everything I wanted: the friends, the car,
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then like new environment, the best fucking alpha land,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
like all the best shit. And I'm like, oh wait, this shit sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
like,
literally.
and it was terrible for a
Yeah.
couple months.
Yeah.
But I just
Literally.
wanted to get your
what is
your
purpose?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll continue to obviously evolve over
course,
time. But I
yeah.
think I've had a point where it was just service based. Like I want to give to people, and through what I learn, I want to give back and like change lives in the way that I've changed my own life, right? Whether that's through like fitness coaching or hormone health or whatever that we do now. And then it was like all service based, and I wasn't fulfilling my own needs, or like, even with travel, it was still so much work. And so I wasn't fulfilled. So that didn't feel like it was my purpose. So now it's like an equal give and take. I think I'm not happy if I just travel, by the way, either. Like I need to give and I need to work. I
Yeah.
love working. So I think it's like my purpose in life is to experience, right? Like to experience as much as I can. In order to experience, I need to have money to experience.
Of course.
And I also, to add to that experience, I want to give back to others and serve. So it's like the give and take of like, I'm going to serve and do what I really love and preach about what I really love, but I'm also going to make a profit from that, which is amazing. And I'm going to use that profit to go experience life more.
But it's also so you can keep giving, though. I don't think
Right.
people think
Yeah.
they're taking money. It's like, no, in order for me to like keep giving to you guys and help people, you have a strong skill set, like
Absolutely.
coaching people with hormone issues and
Yeah.
just all of that.
Yeah.
In order for you to keep doing that, you have to make money.
I need,
Right.
and I
You
need
can't go work
people.
at Walmart and give everything for free. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I need people to like refer me, or people
Yeah.
like, I'm really grateful and excited. I'm going to
Yeah.
be speaking on a stage on Saturday about like women's
No
hormone
way.
health.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, I'm super excited. So it's like, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have eyeballs and
Exactly.
a community on social media and the clientele that we do. So it's like, yeah, you absolutely
Yeah.
need money to
Yeah.
be able to give
Keep giving,
more,
and-
Right.
and it hopefully you continue to, the more that you give, the more that you get, and vice versa. So
Of course.
I don't think we even asked Mason that. What
Yeah,
what
what is
is
it?
purpose
Yeah.
for you? Like what's your definition?
You nailed
It's-
it though. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like the whole giving thing, I don't think people realize like
Yeah.
how
Yep.
important that is.
oh my
but-
God, it's everything.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be very in line with what Audrey said too, where like we value, and I think I might have mentioned this to you guys too. The reason why we work so well and like everything is so congruent with what we do is because we truly see like eye to eye on everything
Yeah,
in
we
our
talked about
lives.
that a little bit.
We
Last time.
did.
You were
We-
like,
yeah.
there's just like every little thing. It's like you see that,
It's
Right.
like
Yes.
and
insane.
you're like, yeah, we do see that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's like it's so like it. We could be middle slammed with work. Like this could be like next week. Let's say like we have no travel that we mentioned earlier, and we're really slammed, we're really bogged down, and we're kind of fucking getting annoyed. I could be like, hey, let's book a trip. And she's like, yeah, let's just do it. Like
Yeah.
there's never like
Yeah.
whenever we make decisions, there's not much resistance
yeah.
or much things where we butt heads on. So in the same line with that, I enjoy experiences. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy like going out and doing new things that like I will actually like feel like, and I'll remember and I'll feel good about doing, whether that's going and seeing a new place, traveling to a new location, whatever that may be. Plus with what Audrey said, I feel like even though when we do travel, we have fun, like we'll be gone for 3 days. And like in the back of my mind, I'm there, but like, I'm like, did I get my content posted? Did I get, was I active enough today? Is my VA doing his shit? Is our team okay? Or like, there's stuff that you're always going to think about. So it's still being able to work, give back, and fulfill the need of like, that I'm doing something that's giving back to the world in a sense with our business, and whether that's just content and stuff. Because we've also had conversations, like even if we had all the money in the world, like, and we were perfectly fine, like didn't need to make another dollar, didn't need to close another sale, whatever that looked like, we were like, we still need to do something.
We
like,
need to, like I would still be
like,
working for free.
I
would work for free.
And that's
because that's a ties into like depression, anxiety, where people, I mean, anybody who's battling with it, just ask them what they do. A lot of times they don't do anything, they sit alone and everything like that.
Right.
Tell them to go like feed a homeless person, or just like go to do a community event and give back to somebody, and then let me know if you actually still feel depressed or anxious, because I just believe depression and anxiety come from loneliness and lacking of purpose. You feel like purpose. Like you don't feel like you belong in this world or bring any value to the world. So you're like, why am I even alive?
Yep.
So if you get a skill that you're really good at, become a master in it, and give back to people, it's gonna be very hard for you to constantly be depressed.
Oh,
yeah.
I think it comes in waves.
100%.
It is.
That's, I don't know. I think it's just lack of purpose for sure.
And that's such a good question to ask, is if you had all the money in the world, what would you do for free? And most of the time it's giving back something, and it's like, okay, that's what you should do.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
Exactly.
That's your
And that's how you'll make
it's like
all the money in the world.
and exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to give up on it.
No.
Because that's what you want to do.
So what would you do if you had all the money in the world, both of you guys? What would you do?
For me, it's pretty much exactly what I'm doing right now.
Just coaching fitness.
Yeah. Well, the thing is
honestly, dude, the value you give for free, that's a lot. Like you have a
I mean, like, I'm a lot more than like just like fitness.
I think we all are. I'd hope.
I picked up on that from your page a lot too. Like you cater more of like a whole life purpose kind of like.
Yeah, and I always had a dad growing up, but he didn't teach me the things I needed to know.
Yeah.
So it's like, what if I was like that guy? Because I know people are in that situation too.
Oh yeah.
And also like even my big brother, like I love him to death, but like he didn't show me some things I wanted to see in a way. Right. And now I see like these 17, 18, 19-year-olds like ask me like, hey man, like I'm going through this. And I'm like, dude, I went through that. Yeah. Don't do this because this is what I did and I fucked up.
Yeah,
So,
literally.
So it's really like that relatability, and it's amazing to me, and that's like truly what you
would do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing.
That's a great that's a great answer.
Hell
yeah.
No, for sure. And so this is where I've kind of like going into this year, I've kind of like rebranded a little bit. I was always like trying to find my ideal client and everything. And I like sat down at the end of the year, even just I was sort of reading that funnel book, and
we kind of both changed paths like at the exact. We were like, dude, this is what my brand, and you were like, dude, this is what my brand represents. We were like, yes.
And I was like, what is my ideal client? I literally had it took me months, honestly.
It does.
It takes actually all of last year. Honestly, it took me all of last year. And so I sat down, I was like, you know what have I done? And I figured out what I did in my life and also my struggles and how did I overcome them. And so something I really, really love is, so I did a bodybuilding show. I did 2 bodybuilding shows. And like growing up, I was always a skinny kid, super unconfident, didn't think I could do much. I remember I talked about a bodybuilding show before COVID. People laughed at me and I was like, yeah, you're right. I can't do it. So I was very like doubtful of what I could actually accomplish. And I never took that leap. And so when I did it, I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do social media. I'm going to do bodybuilding. Yep. Got laughed at. I worked at Chick-fil-A, did my whole bodybuilding prep work in there, was a director. And a week before my first show, I said, I quit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make social media work. I actually had no income from it. Didn't even post about coaching yet. I said, I got 3 months to live. I'm going to move back to my parents. That's it. So I was like, I'm just tired of living that, like, that life where it's like always wishing. So I finally did it, and then I achieved something I never thought I could ever achieve, and that was I did my bodybuilding shows, best feeling in the world, and then I did my coaching, and it started compounding. And so I was then able to, because that's got me the idea. I was like, you know what, I'm going to teach people how to like accomplish one thing in their life they never thought they could do. Bodybuilding show, powerlifting meet, whatever it is. I'm not a powerlifter, but I'm like, just do it. Like, this is how you're going to get there. And I helped somebody else do that for free last year. I prepped him for 10 months. He's a father, has 2 children, 2 jobs.
Damn.
awesome.
Great husband, really great guy. And after my show, he came up to me. He's like, dude, like, I want to do it. And I'm like, bro, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Just forewarning you.
I'm like, I know your diet. I'm like, I know what you do. I'm like, this isn't like something you just do to look cool.
Right.
Wait,
I'm
this
like,
was Steven went up to you after your show?
yeah, because I sat
Oh.
down. I went to his house for like 3 hours, and I actually sat down.
Did he go to your show?
No, not my show.
Oh, okay.
I worked at Christie's with him. He was an in-person
Oh,
trainer.
gotcha.
And
Oh,
he saw
okay.
me do it, and he got inspired. And I said, why don't we sit down and talk about this?
Yeah.
Because he reached out to me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sat down for like 3 hours, and I even sat down with his wife. I said, if he does this, I'm like, this is gonna affect you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, this is gonna affect everything. It's
Yeah.
his relationship with kids, everything. I'm like, it's gonna be the hardest thing he does. And I'm like, Steven, I'll coach you, but you have to commit to it.
Right.
I'm like, but this is no doubt. I know you're an athlete, whatever. I'm like, I don't care what you say. I've never been through anything harder than that, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So I coached him throughout the whole process. And then I like filmed it and everything. And at the end,
so
like he
cool.
almost cried. And he was just like, when he got off stage, he's like, I just never thought I could actually do this.
Right.
And he like
It's
had like
clicked, you're
looked
like-
crazy. Like, I mean, he went from straight dad bod
Yeah, it was dad
to
bod
like
to
I mean,
Shredded.
So awesome.
Shredded.
Yeah.
Like, it was like shredded
Yeah.
more than shredded.
It-
Shredded.
Oh my
I
god.
actually,
That's
peeled.
amazing.
like I pulled him out to show you guys his transformation, but I pulled
Yeah.
him out of his first show. I said, dude, we need more muscle mass.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, this just isn't working. So I had to do like another whole prep with him.
Oh wow.
God damn.
Because he just didn't have enough muscle
Yeah.
mass. A lot of
Sometimes
people
that happens. They don't.
Yep.
You don't
and
realize it
so-
until they get leaner, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm like, you won't be happy if you do it. I'm
Right.
like, I know you can do more. And he's like, all right, let's do it. So we kept going. So my purpose and what I would keep doing is I've brought on a bunch of people this year now, like accomplishing things they never thought they could do. So I have my first female client. She's going to be doing a wellness show.
Oh,
Nice.
super cool.
And she was a postpartum mom, like
Yeah.
hormones were jacked
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
Oh, I can imagine.
So we had to like spend a lot of time just recovering. She lost
Yeah.
like 20 pounds, but it took her it took her a little bit. to
yeah,
Yeah.
giving her a nice
Yeah.
reverse diet. Like, let's back off the.
And she's
yeah.
like, like my weight hasn't budged in a month or two. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is normal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're okay. Now she's like, I want to do a show. And then, so I'm coaching her. And then I have some other people who are doing some shows, but then some other like 15Ks, or they want to
Right.
do Spartan races, or they want to do certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like, I just want
That's
to help.
really
I want to
cool.
help people do one thing that they never thought they could do, because I never, like, that's something that relates to me. Something
Yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
and I did it, and I was like, now it's so easy to be healthy. Like,
Yeah.
it's so easy to just to like be proactive, and you realize how easy life is. I
Yeah.
think life is super easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like
Exactly.
working and everything, I'm like, it's really not that hard.
No,
People-
it's
Yeah.
not.
So
They
now people are
overcomplicate
like,
it.
yeah, people are like, I don't have time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know.
I'm like, just do it. Like, there's
Yeah.
really no other answer. Like,
I
you
know.
just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
you just do it.
I think that's my purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just showing people what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like,
And just having somebody to believe in them. 'Cause
Yeah,
they don't
right.
have people.
yeah, you have to
Yes.
show them their potential before they even see it in themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah.
And I believe that with purpose, it comes success basically immediately, because I think people tie down with success with like money, materialism, stuff like that. But it's like, dude, success
So
is an everlasting
backwards.
thing. And it's like, bro, right when you start fulfilling your purpose, like, oh, now I'm successful.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, boom. And then
Yeah.
all the other stuff that comes with it is just a bonus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's passion, and then it's coming from your purpose. Like
Yeah.
the passion coming from your purpose will show from the way you talk to people about it, from who you try and help in
Exactly.
regards to whatever you're passionate about. And then because of who you're helping from that passion, you're going to get some sort of reward from
Yeah.
it, and it'll come naturally.
Yeah.
And one
So-
of my clients, he's 30. He's going back to college. He never graduated, and he's like really overweight and stuff. So obviously looking good, but our last check-in call last week was about success. He's like, I feel like a failure, dude. He's like, I don't feel successful. Like, I see other people who are 30, they're successful. I'm like, bro, I dropped out of college.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was
Yeah.
working at a fast food restaurant at 24, 25 years old. I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, just because you didn't do what the social norm is, I'm like, doesn't mean you're not successful. I'm
Yeah.
like, you've gone through so many experiences. I'm like, now, if anything, you go into college, you know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Where other people are going to college and wasting a bunch of money.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not going to be successful. So
Straight up.
that's like a big and he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I'm like, dude.
It's a completely different mindset shift because it's not taught anywhere.
Right.
It sucks. I wish it was taught, and that's why I like talking about it so much, because these kids are like, once I get that degree, then I'll be successful. It's like, no, you'll probably hate your life.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
wait for anything
exactly.
for success.
And it's like, for me,
Yeah.
it was like, once I hit that 10K month, I'll be successful. It's like, no, that's
No.
when depression's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, literally.
You're going to be let down, and then you're going to question everything, and then you're going to be really
And
depressed.
you're up to the one thing that you think matters, but it doesn't. It's like more money, more
Yeah.
money,
Right.
more money. It's like that's
More anything, more money,
Yeah.
more materialistic things, more relationships. It doesn't always. I've found that like yeah, I think service and then like relationships. Relationships is
So important.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So important.
But
Yeah.
I think we should. Audrey, I know how to see it going. She has a call.
Yeah,
Yeah. This was a
Man.
great
I know.
podcast though.
man, I love talking to you guys.
We have to do a
That's
part
great.
3, Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to
absolutely.
come back.
In the
Absolutely.
future.
Yeah,
part
it was
3.
very in flow. I know.
I mean, we
there's
had a
so many
pretty
other
nice little
avenues.
makeshift. I mean, I kind of threw this together. I mean, this is all
No,
we needed
this is
here, and then we had the chairs.
This is great.
Yeah.
This,
Better than
this
our
is what we
place.
need.
Yeah, yeah.
Better than our place,
When you got the
man.
wallpaper back up.
Don't
too.
worry, Audrey. You'll never come to our place and hit and do a podcast there.
Clean it up before we do the podcast.
No,
maybe
it's not
this
even
little-
worth cleaning.
Oh yeah, I saw we saw Ryan Dangler. I didn't know Ryan Dangler lives in your
Yeah.
apartment
Yeah.
building. Yeah, I bumped
Yeah.
into him. It was the first time I've seen him since we've been back here.
We bumped into him right before we came
Yeah.
here. He was
Oh,
like,
really?
y'all
He's
going
like,
to
I just saw
Mason's?
him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. Small world.
Yeah.
Very small world.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He is a great dude.
But thank you guys for watching. Me and Ian love all you guys so much. We don't care about likes or comments. Just share this with one of your best friends. And we will catch you on next week.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, guys.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.